Hi everybody, I hope you're having a really good week. I have a question for you. If you're going to delegate a task to somebody in the workplace today, how will you check that they've actively listened and interpreted the information correctly? Is it enough just to say to that person, is that okay? Or do you understand? Well, have a think about this. When we may be applying full concentration, we may be actively listening, blocking out any noise distractions, but we still don't quite interpret the information in the same way. And that's because of the filtering process that's going on. Our brains are really active throughout the course of every day, and we're taking in lots of information through our five senses. Our subconscious knows us really well, so it decides perhaps to delete some of the information. It decides for us that that's not important. So it goes in one ear and out the other. That expression we've all heard, that does happen. Another way we filter information, even when we're actively listening, is we distort or we put our own spin or logic to it. And also another way of distorting is we sometimes add a bit of extra detail that we thought that person said. And the third way we filter is we make assumptions. We make assumptions about what we think the person's going to say next. We make assumptions about what bit is important and what isn't. But of course, when we're making assumptions, or we're distorting, or if we're deleting, then we're not necessarily going to retain all the information. We're not necessarily going to interpret it in the way that that person has given us the information wants us to. So it goes back to my point. How do you ensure that when you're delegating a task to someone, that they have listened and they have interpreted in the same way? So, for example, if I said to you, you're at the doctor's surgery, and the doctor said to you, I need you to take a tablet every half an hour between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. How many tablets would you take? Now, I use this question in a training session, and I've had one, I've had two, I've had three as the answer, I've even had four. Somebody is right. Or actually, are they all right? Because it's open to our interpretation. My answer to that question would be three, because between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. to me means you take one at 1, you take one at 1:30, you take one at 2. But I've had lots of people that's disagreed with that. So, how do we ensure that the person we're relaying the instructions to has interpreted correctly, or interpreted at least in the way we want them to? But also, if somebody's delegating to us, how do we ensure that we've interpreted the information correctly? So, first of all, when we are receiving information, it's really important to understand that that filtering is happening. So, in order to make sure that we have understood, it's really important to check our understanding. When somebody's asking us to do something, to be able to say to that person, so what I've understood by your instructions is that I need to do, and off I go. If I have deleted or distorted or made any assumptions, then the person delegating the task to me will be able to fill in any missing gaps or put me on the right path. Equally, if you're delegating to somebody, it's not sufficient just to say, do you understand, or is that okay? Because they're likely to say yes. Why would they doubt that they've interpreted differently to you? However, if you ask that person to relay back to you their understanding of the instructions before they go away and start the task, then it's a much better way of ensuring that you're both on the same wavelength. So if you're going to delegate a task today, make sure you don't ask, is that okay, or do you understand? Get that person to relay back to you. And if somebody is asking you to do something today, what are you going to do? You're going to check your understanding.